The Grinch League, Professor Layton, and the Hammer Brothers in Smash. Let's talk all about this in Question Blocked. What's happening, my Block buddies, and welcome to a brand new episode of Blocked Content's Question Blocked. My name is Callum, and this is going to be your Question Blocked for today. And I'm so happy you guys hear that intro, and it's done by someone really, really special and really cool. I get to talk about all that too in today's episode of Question Blocked. It is really cool to be here, you guys, and I just have to say, like, going through all of the fan mail has been insanely fun and incredible. I'm sorry that I don't get to do these episodes often because, you know, they take some time to organize, and I really want to, like, touch up every single message, but I just can't do it. There's no time, but I'll try to do these episodes a lot more often. So if you want to be on the show, it's really easy. You can just send out an email. So I'll talk all about that too. And you guys, it's just been really fun to like talk about you guys with Smash Brothers Ultimate content coming out and Leak Speak and all that kind of stuff. So I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart that I get to do this every single day because it's all because of you guys. So today I like to give back and talk a whole lot about big Smash Brothers leaks, and even predictions, retro games, and all that stuff in between, and even character predictions. That's awesome. So I've been answering all of you guys' questions about Smash Ultimate and new fighters in this show, Question Blocked, where I answer your questions. What do I think of your favorite game? How do you start making YouTube videos, which I talk about? So send your question through to blockedcontentmail@gmail.com, and I will answer your question live on the show in our next Question Blocked episode. And here's a brand new giveaway. You can win one of these Super Mario surprise capsules from Tomy. Any Mario item, Yoshi, or a character could be inside. I leave them closed so you can find out who's inside when you win. I'm giving away 4 of these, so remember to like this video, subscribe to Blocked Content right now, and comment down below to enter for the giveaway. All right, guys, let's answer our first question of the day. And of course, if you send in your questions through blockedcontentmail@gmail.com, make them a little bit more lengthier than this. You know, I can answer a lot of questions with a lot more than just a yes and no, so you can be detailed if you want. So here we go, from Wesley Fulkerson saying, my question is, out of all the leaks that you've seen, which one is your favorite? Wesley Fulkerson. Well, Wesley, thank you so much for your email, and I want to answer this one specifically because a lot of people have been asking me what my favorite like leaks or big like speculation or rumors throughout the years are, and there's a couple that jump into my mind. I mean, the Rayman leak for Smash Brothers for Wii U and 3DS was amazing. It was done by my buddy Artsy Omni, and he did an incredible job, so there's no ill will there at all because, you know, I got to meet him through that whole ordeal, so that was super cool. And of course, the Grinch leak, I mean, we can't understate how huge the Grinch league was of all things. It was insanely big, and you know, not even like really a person stepped up saying it was me. It was just disproven by the fact that the characters are not in the game for the most part, right? Mac Ryder isn't in there, and Gino is yet to be in the game and stuff like that. So yeah, this is really strange, right? The Grinch league, no one really stepped up to say it because I think it got too big, and maybe that person would just get flamed or like get like destroyed over the internet for the longest time. So, but the Grinch league did give us a lot of opportunity to have fun with each other, to speculate, and of course seeing it all fall apart with the announcement of Incineroar was really strange, right? Saying like, oh wow, the Grinch leak isn't real. And also another leak that was incredibly awesome, and this was actually a real leak, like an incredible, huge, like one of the biggest leaks in gaming history, was for Smash Brothers for Wii U and 3DS, and it's called the ESRB leak, which basically leaked out every single fighter in the final roster for Super Smash Brothers for 3DS, right? Before we even knew Smash Brothers for Wii U's roster, and before that game even released. Yes, even before that time, we already knew the final roster. And of course, there were crazy characters. Who is that Shulk guy? And what? Is that the dog from Duck Hunt? Like crazy stuff, crazy out there stuff. And I totally like that. I mean, there's a lot of leaks that happened throughout the years that were like substantial, and others were very small. There was one before Simon from Castlevania, Simon Belmont, got revealed for Smash Brothers Ultimate. There's actually a tiny leak that was like, wait, a song just showed up on the Smash Brothers YouTube channel, and it's like one of the songs from Castlevania. So to me, that's always been a very special moment, a very special place. So those tiny things that make you go, oh no, it's totally happening, right? And there've been like other moments that really stood out to me, but yeah, I think that has to be like my top 4 or my top 5 because those have been incredible. And of course, one of the biggest leaks that I hope is true is that Kako Mallow leak right now, because yeah, at the moment of recording, we don't have all the Smash Brothers characters yet, and it's rumored that a Kako Demon costume is in the game and a Mallow costume is in the game, hinting towards both like Doomslayer and Gino. So that could be incredible, yeah. And I think that that Super Mario 35th anniversary leak that happened a couple of weeks ago, that's real as well. If that's real, then I'm gonna jump for joy, because yeah, it deserves to be celebrated, the Mario 35th anniversary, and if it happens to be celebrated with something as awesome as remasters of Mario Galaxy, Sunshine, and 64, then I'll be the most happy gamer in the world. So I hope I answered your question to satisfaction, Wesley. Thank you so much for sending it in. And our second question. Our user Will Coble asks, what do you think about this DLC wish list? And I totally love getting these lists from you guys, by the way, so thank you so much for sending it in. Helix from ARMS. Doom Guy from Doom, Waluigi, insert Waluigi game, oh right, Professor Layton, or Lenton as he says, my sleeper pick, Crash Bandicoot from Crash Bandicoot, Bandana D from Kirby, and an extra fighter like Piranha Plant, Hammer Brothers. They fight like the Ice Climbers from Will Coble. So Will, thank you so much for sending in your question, and don't worry, it doesn't really matter if you have perfect spelling or not in these messages, because hey, everyone knows that I make mistakes too, so that all happens and that's totally fine. So I'll talk about your picks, because I actually think there's a couple in here that make perfect sense and a couple that I think are really fun. So first off, Crash Bandicoot in the middle there, I think has a big chance of showing up for Smash Bros. Ultimate's DLC Pass 2. I think maybe it's the final character or the character after the ARMS fighter, right? I actually think there's a huge chance that if Crash is in the game, he gets revealed after the ARMS character, and maybe even in the same direct, right? Knowing what is next, kind of like with Hero and Banjo. I think that makes sense. Then Professor Layton, I actually think would be possible if it's all first-party characters, because Professor Layton is in that like middle ground of, yeah, he's not really developed by first-party Nintendo, but still kind of is considered that. So I could see that happening when that happens, right? I think that it's an interesting character and it fits in the Smash Brothers world, and I could totally see it. But also I feel like Professor Layton would feel like more of a assist trophy fighter for a next Smash game. So maybe not that big, right? Maybe a character like Phoenix Wright, you know, they've crossed over, could fit a little bit better. Waluigi here is a interesting choice. I will go on record saying that I like Waluigi as a character. There's a lot of potential there, but right now I don't think I want him for Smash Bros. Ultimate. If I want him in a Smash game, I'll probably want him in the next Smash Bros. Game, and I need for some reason for him to be there, a story reason or some sort of like big viral reason for the character to be in there, and not just to be only wish fulfillment for Smash Bros. Ultimate. I feel like we already got tons of that in this game, and it would only be a meme choice as of that point. So if Waluigi enters the fray, and maybe in like a few years time when there's a new Smash game, and in the meantime maybe Waluigi had a starring role in like a Wario game, or like he got introduced into the roster of WarioWare or something like that, I think Waluigi needs to live a little bit more, right? I mean, there's also characters in Smash Brothers that have not yet been in like the like video game world for the longest time. If we're talking about an ARMS character, it's a very young franchise, but I feel like Waluigi has not gotten mileage outside of the big Mario sports game and stuff like that. So I really want him to like experience life a little bit more before we bring him in as a playable character, if that makes any sense. Bandana D, I could totally see happening. I just don't know if Sakurai likes the character at all. I mean, Sakurai creates the Kirby world, but he isn't involved in every single game's development that closely anymore. That's usually outsourced, and he just works on Smash Brothers. So I don't know what his affiliation with the Bandana D character is, and if he has the same amount of love for that character as, say, a Meta Knight or a King Dedede, which he perfectly like created and loves, and even does the voice for King Dedede. So yeah, an extra fighter like Piranha Plant, I could totally see them do, simply because it's 6 fighters, right? I think one of them should be like a joke character. Maybe the ARMS character, being Helix, maybe will be like sort of a joke pick, right? Now, Doom Guy, I think it's a strange middle ground, because we've talked about Doom Guy so much, and maybe it's possible if Doom Guy is going to be a big like third-party choice in this roster, but right now, even with the developers saying it's not happening, it's difficult to think about it, right? And finally, the Hammer Brothers, kind of like Ice Climbers, that would be so cool. Unfortunately, the Hammer Brother is an assist trophy right now, so if it happens, I think that it will be in the next game. I'm one of the people that thinks like assist trophies will not turn into Smash fighters for this pass, unless the entire pass, that's the thing, right? And the ARMS fighter will be Springman, and then the next fighter will be Waluigi, and maybe we'll get Shadow, Shadow, maybe we've got Isaac's, and character like Bomberman, and maybe Hammer Brother will be in there too, but I don't think that he'll come with a partner. I think that Hammer Brothers have proven to be on their own as well. They're playable in Mario Party games and some sports games, so yeah, I could see him happening on his own, maybe in a future Smash game. So thank you so much for sending in your question, by the way. On to our next question from Sean Miser, saying, "Hi, you probably don't remember me, but my name is Sean and I'm subscribed to you, and I have my own YouTube channel. It's called Sean Miser, LOL. I started my channel when King K. Rool was announced, and I was wondering, how do you gain a huge following of subscribers on YouTube?" From Sean Miser. Well, Sean, thank you so much for sending in your question. And yeah, I truly believe that the Smash Bros. Ultimate hype had a lot to do with this channel's success, but even before that, I think my channel, Blocked Content, really picked up steam when a little game called Paper Mario Color Splash was about to come out. I did analyses trailers for that. I basically took apart all the gameplay stuff and talked about everything in detail. I love the Paper Mario and just all the Mario franchises, so yeah, I love doing that, and that picked up a lot of steam for the channel. And then of course Mario Maker and other games like Super Mario Odyssey, and then Smash Bros. Ultimate became a huge focus of the channel, then doing the Snake Codec stuff. So how did it get a huge following? Well, I have to be honest here, and I worked really, really hard on it. I remember starting the channel, having that one subscriber, and just looking at the screen, like, how do I increase this? Do I ask my friends? Do I post videos of my channel on different forums and stuff like that? Well, ultimately, what just happened is I got in sort of a habit of making videos. So I would say to myself, well, every one day or every 2 days, I'll make a video and I'll post it, and maybe I'll, post it on a few social media channels. Maybe I'll ask my friends to watch them or something like that. But like mostly it was just sticking to a certain routine and getting people to kind of notice it. And then what happened mostly was sometimes the videos I made would be hits, like small hits. First they would get a couple hundred views because I would like either talk about something that was right there at a current event, like a Paper Mario trailer breakdown, or it was just funny, like a music video or something making fun of a video game, or like YouTube poop kind of situation. Like I tried a whole bunch of things to gain a following, to like tell my own unique stories. And as you guys can see, like this channel, Blocked Content, it's just me. Like it's not even a facade anymore of any kind. Like it's not me trying to find out what the audience exactly wants and perfectly tailoring everything. I mean, I do Leak Speak videos, but that's because I love the Smash Brothers universe. That's like what I do. But also I post feature films, I post music videos and songs, and I post short films and animations that I do and stuff like that. So I get to do everything that I want, and that makes me very happy. But I could only get to that point if I did put in the work and actually, really looked at the numbers and subscribers, and, worked with people and made like posts and asking people what they want to see. And then slowly but surely, I think the Snake Codec animations had a lot to do with it too. So it's also finding the right people to work with and not just doing everything by yourself. And I'm still seeing so much potential in Blocked Content that is not already here, like doing a big podcast with someone else, like doing game playthroughs with a friend of mine, like doing this some kind of show, and like big Let's Play stuff. And I really want to do hosted shows where I'm on camera talking about things. There's a lot of channels that I really take inspiration from, and I haven't been able to do anything like that for a very long time, and I kind of want to do it. So I would just say find a thing that is a niche in a certain niche, right? That is very, very small and specific. So it isn't just, I make a video about Smash Brothers. No, you make videos about a certain Smash Brothers corner, right? A certain character or a certain trait or something. I mean, look at a channel like, if I had to pick something like Beta64, right? He isn't just making videos about video games or about a certain video game, very specifically beta content in like video games. So whenever you need content on that very specific thing, there's only just a handful of people making that content. And he, of course, is the main one because he just got there really quickly or just makes the best kind of content in that way. And there's a whole host of others. I mean, you talk about Game Grumps with the Let's Play stuff, and you talk about Scott the Was with and the Completionist, and all these great YouTube channels that have gone on for such a long time that I watch like every single week, that are doing such great work. And they're only doing it because they are, very dedicated, they're funny, and they really push for creating content for the fans every single week. And that's really what I want to emulate. I'm not there yet. I'm, really trying to still figure out my path. But slowly but surely, I think we're about 100 subscribers away from something like 40,000 subscribers. So I would say that is a huge following that I would have never expected. But of course, in terms of YouTube, it's not the biggest, right? There's a lot of people that are on the level or get the views that my type of videos do that have like 200 or 300,000 subscribers. So that does make me very privileged and happy. And it does make me feel like, wow, I have a big responsibility because I get a lot of viewers on my content. Got to make it good, got to make the presentation good, the animation, the details, everything has to be perfect. And even if it's a template, it has to be a solid template, right? And the audio quality and the music's all got to be good. So focus on getting the content just right, focus on getting it out a lot, and also just, talk about the things that you love, but in a very niche way, right? Don't just do broad terms. That can follow a little bit later after you've established that main audience. So that's it for me. Sean Miser, thank you so much for sending in your comment. And I'll do 2 more questions. So our next question comes to us from Massimo V saying, hello, Blocked Content. I've got to say that I really like all the videos and I've been watching all of them and I enjoy watching the Leak Speaks. But anyway, I was just curious what it means when you say this video is not intended for a child audience. I'd interpret this as you saying that this content isn't appropriate for children, but it sure is appropriate as you keep it very family friendly. Maybe I'm thinking about it in the wrong way. Thanks, Massimo V. Massimo, I'm so happy that you asked this question because even though I don't get this question asked a lot, I've been thinking about clarifying that. And actually, if I'm being honest, I've been thinking about removing that message as well. And it all has to do with a simple thing called COPPA, which is the Child Online Protection Act, right? And it basically is a law that says you can't really collect information on minors when you do YouTube content, and YouTube has been in violation of that law for a very long time. So they changed some things around, and now you actually have to be very honest about the content that you create, and if it's for children, and a lot of animations for children will now get flagged as content just for kids, and YouTube content creators just can't make money off of them. They can't, substantiate their content anymore, and they can't go on with their YouTube channels anymore. So it's a really tricky situation. And blocked content to me is something that I don't think is intended just for kids, just for a child audience, right? I think that disclaimer is just so we don't get in trouble with COPPA, and I really want to make sure and that everyone knows I'm doing my best to make sure that it isn't just, appealing to kids content and that I'm making, use of that whole situation. That's not it at all. What I like to do is make the content for everybody and not specifically targeted to kids. That's not the intent here. So the video is not intended for a child audience. It is intended for a broad audience, for everyone. So yeah, the wording could probably be a little bit different there, but essentially it's just to save my skin, I guess. And maybe because this whole situation is a little bit less severe than we thought it would initially be. A lot of channels thought they would be taken down, and there has been some drama with some YouTube channels that talk about toys and stuff like that, but gaming channels for the most part have not been flagged. Now, there have been a couple of animations that I've made on other YouTube channels that I've run over the years, when I did my own channel and stuff like that with little fun animations that actually have been flagged as for kids content. And I just got emails from them. Of course, those videos have 2 views or something like that. So that's not something that I care too much about, but it does kind of teach you that, yeah, these laws are the real deal. And you got to kind of watch out for, the content that you make because, YouTube can really get into trouble with stuff like that. So you got to play ball. So yes, the content is family friendly that we do on Block Content. I try not to cuss. I don't think I've ever done it on the channel. I maybe flubbed once or twice on a live stream just because something amazing happened or something. But other than that, I don't really cuss at all. And everything that I do, including the visuals, are friendly for every single audience. So it is family friendly. It is for everyone. It is not targeted to kids, and it's not intended solely for a child audience. So I hope that answers your question. And now on to our final question of the day, and it's a really great one. So it says, hello, Callum. My YouTube channel is called Barbecue Chiptunes, and I'm a huge fan of yours. As the name of my channel suggests, I make chiptunes. Unfortunately, they're not barbecue flavored. I have a question. What is your favorite retro video game? I also have a gift for you. Attached to this email is the Blocked Content theme song played by Sega Genesis Instruments. I'm looking forward to watching more of your videos. Barbecue Chiptunes. Well, I gotta say, I opened this video with your theme song, and I think that every time that I do a question blocked, I'm gonna do that unless I get some other crazy cool cover of the song sent to me through the email. So any musicians out there that want to, take their jab at a blocked content remix, send them to blockedcontentmail@gmail.com, and I will open our next video with it. But thank you so much. It sounds so good, and I love the idea of Sega Genesis instruments. I mean, I've used Sega Genesis instruments for a song that I did called Alive Again. It was a song that I made for the Sonic movie, and actually went to Paramount Studios and talked to the people that made the movie and pitched the song, and it really got a great reaction. It was awesome. But yeah, it sounds great. You even mimic like the way that the instruments come in the song, and I totally love the vibe that you're going for, and even ending it with that way, it was like I was in a Sonic game. So I had a big smile on my face, and thank you so much. So as to your question, oh, by the way, go subscribe to his channel. It's called Barbecue Chiptunes, and it's great stuff. So what is my favorite retro video game? I mean retro, then I think it should be earlier than Nintendo 64, because I feel like Nintendo 64 to me was not retro. To me, that was what I grew up with. But when I grew up, which was the early 90s, there were already video games out. I mean, video games were from like the 80s. So I would say if I had to pick a retro video game, it probably would be like Kirby's Dream Land or Super Mario Brothers for the NES. I loved playing those two games on my NES. And I remember in my parents' bedroom, we had an NES, and we had a little television suspended from like the ceiling. And it was like this little thing, and it was the NES and the controller, and I very vividly remember sitting on the bed and just playing a ton of that Kirby game, and the music being so well done for an NES game, and having the feeling that I was playing retro stuff. I knew that games had evolved, and there was stuff out like the SNES, and then we were already in the like Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1 era, I think. So I knew that this was special and that this was early days. But I also, the gaming universe, the gaming landscape hadn't evolved in a way yet where it was that obvious that this was like old stuff and pixel art. It was still, I was looking at Kirby and I was looking at Mario and I was playing these adventures, and I had no feeling of this being relics. I did know that it was important, but I was just at an age, and I had to be like 5 years old or something like that, or 6. But it was definitely very, very special. Now, if we can talk about Nintendo 64 games, I remember very, very vividly the Nintendo 64 had come out, and I don't think that it launched with Mario 64, or it may not have launched with Mario 64 in Europe. But whatever the case was, we got Wave Race 64 for the Nintendo 64 when the console launched, and we played that and we loved it, and it was crazy because it was like this whole new universe. I mean, we'd only played like the SNES in our household, and maybe the NES back then too. But then when we saw the 3D graphics and the water moving and everything, and the music like Wave Race, it was incredible. But we always had that feeling because on the box of the Nintendo 64 there was Mario, and we knew Mario 64 was about to come out. So I think my brother went to the store and he swapped, like he traded the game for Mario 64. He traded Wave Race for Mario 64. So ultimately we did end up buying Wave Race again, I think in a few months after that, but he came home with Mario 64, and then we played Mario 64, and I watched, and he was playing like Whomp's Fortress or something, and I was like going insane because the game looked so crazy cool. And then when it was my turn, or someone was getting a drink, or moving away from the room, the controller was on the couch, and I just looked at it, and I think it was a red controller. I think it was a red Nintendo 64 controller. And I remember walking up to it, sitting down, grabbing the controller, not knowing how to really hold that controller yet, because of course this was the days before YouTube and seeing people play games or getting trailers of stuff or announcement trailers for like the Nintendo 64. So this was the first time I saw the controller and the games and everything, and I grabbed the controller, and I think I kind of knew how, and then I pressed the D-pad and nothing really happened in the game. And that's when it dawned on me that the control stick was the way that control Mario. So I pressed the control stick left and right, and Mario ran left and right. Okay, I know this, but then the whole world started rolling around and shifting in 3D. And then I pressed forward on that stick, And then everything changed. And I think this is the moment in gaming that everything changed for just about everyone playing video games. Because 3D had been done before in games and stuff like that, but not like this. Not with this free range of movement, not in this kind of a universe, not with this kind of precision, not in this kind of charm, not with that Nintendo magic. And just moving around that game world, that first Bob-on Battlefield, that changed me forever. So I think that question was answered in quite a lot of detail, but just wanted to thank you for both making the song. I mean, that's incredible that you made a song for Block Content, so thank you so much for sending that in. And of course, your incredible question, because it really sent me down memory lane there. So I wanted to thank everyone for sending in their awesome questions. I mean, it's super fun that you guys actually get to do all this. So thank you, Wesley Fulkerson. Thank you to Will Coble. Thank you to Sean Miser, to Massimo V, and thank you, Barbecue Chiptunes. And again, go check those guys that have channels. Check them out, because I mean, it's super fun that we all get to do this together, right? And as for our comment questions, you guys, I want to talk about something really cool, because in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, you guys know that there's one thing the most important, and that's who's going to be the next character. I just want to know who you think will be the final character. So if you comment down below, that comment could actually be featured and read out loud in our next video. And to answer another question, here's our comment question of the day. Our winner is Ren Kiuri, saying, I'd love to see Daisy finally added in the game. She should have been there instead of Rosalina in 3D World. No shades towards the character, but she really had no real reason to be there with the brothers. Daisy had history with Mario, Luigi, and Peach, and the Toad, so her conclusion would make much more sense. Toadette is just a no. She has the same exact ability as Toad, while Daisy has her own, which is the double jump. So, Ren, thank you so much for sending in your comment. Don't know if I really agree with you here. I feel like the idea of Rosalina did kind of make sense, because you actually went to her realm. You actually went to her world in that game, and that's, I think, around the time when you unlock the character. And of course, in the timeline of things, if you want to think about it in that way, you know, Galaxy 1 and 2 were the previous kind of big games, right? And that's when Rosalina was introduced. So I do think it actually kind of makes sense. And Daisy has never really been in any of the mainline Mario games, and Rosalina actually has. So no, I don't really agree with you here, but I do think that if they make a new version of the game, Deluxe, then Rosalina should be in there, but also Daisy, and maybe even Toadette, and Toadette having an ability that maybe even transforms her into like Peach Head. I don't even know. They can do some crazy stuff over there at Nintendo. So thank you so much for sending in your comments. These are always so much fun to read through. And of course, thank you so much to our latest Patreon supporters and the super chats during our live streams. You guys make blocked content possible. So if you want to have yourself created in pixel art, join us for a discussion, or even have your own ideas become animations, please go to patreon.com/blockedcontent. There's a bunch of incredible rewards there, and they're waiting for you. And remember, if you're not yet a member of the Blocked Content family yet, hit subscribe now, smash that like button, and ring the bell for notifications, and all the news and fun you care about will be delivered on the daily to you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you around the corner where there's always more Blocked Content. See ya!